All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back to the channel. So we're going to do a quick video here, and I'm excited to do it because like I have a bunch of topics. I feel like I owe you guys, like I was pretty light last week, which I felt guilty about, but I just didn't, we talked about this. But I set out today. I was going to talk about the fight card, 260 fight card, because I said yesterday, that the fight card's really weak. There's nothing on it, and everyone was like, "Hey, what about Sean O'Malley?" And I was like, okay, yeah, Sean O'Malley's fighting a guy who's lost 4 of his last 5 fights. So yeah, they're going to give Sean a gimme fight to get him back in the W column because he is a potential Conor McGregor level star. So yeah, there's a Sean O'Malley gimme fight on this. That's true, right? Unranked fighters fighting each other on the main card. And then you got, what about Luque versus Tyron Woodley? Oh, yep. We should definitely talk about that because Woodley's on a 3-fight skid and he's fighting a guy who comes out of the same camp as 2 of the guys who beat him, who has similar skills and is very likely to beat Woodley. And they're basically setting this up. They're like, Woodley wants out of his contract, so who can we give him that'll beat the shit out of him and then also, elevate him to another, so we'll get another contender in that weight class. So yeah, you're right. Great card, okay? Oh, and then what about that? So we got Francis and Stipe, then you got those 2 fights, and then what's the next one? I'm not going to say their names. I'm just going to say this. They're both unranked, and both are coming off losses. One of them's coming off 2 losses. The other one's coming off 1, and they're on the main card, okay? So yeah, tell me about how that fight card is awesome. Go ahead. Tell me about how this is a legit, pay-per-view, okay? When we lost Ortega and Volkanovski, that's a big loss, man. That was a big component to this fight card. Doesn't matter. I'm still going to buy it, and I encourage all of you guys to buy it because Francis and Stipe is a good enough fight. Anyway, that's all I was going to talk about, but, I would have dragged it out. But then I saw the story about Kamaru Usman liking Colby Covington's sister's Instagram videos, or pictures and videos, and I died laughing. That is priceless, okay? You know what, before I get into it though, if you like the content, subscribe and ring the bell. I'm gonna knock this video out real quick because what time is it? It is 3 o'clock and I gotta get Giselle to jiu-jitsu at 4. Let me tell you about a little special moment that I had yesterday, okay? So I'm in, I watch Giselle's jiu-jitsu classes every single day. Go to Gracie Fighter, watch her, she trains every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And, these kids are killers, okay? Killers. Like I think that Giselle's coaches has 7 world champions, not like, local world champions, like best in the world in their division, like kids. Okay, the guy who coaches her comes and gives her private lessons at my house. His name's Cam. He's a stud. Point I'm making is the kids that are in these classes are savages, okay? So I watch them all the time, and I get met. Look, like I have my own YouTube channel talking about fighting. Obviously, people who can fight impress me, and so these kids, they're incredible at jiu-jitsu, right? And I watch them all the time, and I am not incredible at jiu-jitsu because I spent all my time learning how to punch and kick things, right? And so I'm watching these kids, and I'm like, I don't know. If you're wired like me, you kind of can't help yourself. Like, fuck, man. This kid's better at jiu-jitsu than me. Like, this kid is a better fighter than I am. All of these kids over here are better at a fighting martial art than me. And it's just like, ugh. Underneath it bothers me a little bit, right? But yesterday, as I always do when I'm there, I was, kicking the heavy bag, practicing question mark kicks and things like that. And one of these kids who is a murder machine on the ground, okay? Like this kid is so good. I think he's like 12 years old, but he's one of these kids that's so relaxed and he goes against other kids that are very good and he very relaxed folds them in pretzels. And I've never talked to him before, but I kicked his bag and I fucking laid one on the, it's a regular kick for me, but I went full throttle. And he came up to me and goes, "Hey, how do you have so much power in your kicks?" I was like, he's back. I'm back, son. So this little killer thinks I kick the bag hard. Objectively, I do kick the bag hard, but now I don't have to feel like a pussy in front of him anymore because he thinks I can kick the bag hard. I think he's incredible at jiu-jitsu. We're even Steven, We're even Steven. This would be funnier I think the funniest part about this is 100% true. Like everything about this is totally true. Everything about how I felt in the class, about how much satisfaction I got from a 12-year-old telling me I kicked the bag hard, which is objectively true, but nonetheless, like this is what being like an insecure, wired for combat lunatic is. there's something that's kind of, violence oriented that these children are better than me at. I don't really like how that feels. However, I'm just going to kick the bag and make myself feel better. And they're looking, now I know they're looking at me like, Jesus, if I could only learn how to kick like that. And now I feel all better. It's fucking weird, man. I'm a child. I am inside 12 years old. Or a violent lunatic that doesn't like being inferior in a violent combat situation. Anywho, where was I? Oh, right. Kamaru Usman liking Colby Covington's pictures and videos. Hilarious. Okay? Because it's so perfect Kamaru, right? Like, it's not, he just liked her pictures. It's like, dude, it's not disrespectful. It's not underhanded. It's just like, oh, like, do any of you guys have any friends that are like, that you find out are total sleazebags? Like, if you're on Instagram, because, like, everybody's like kind of trolling for booty on Instagram, right? Like, there are lots of smoke show Instagram girls, unless you're, playing for the other team, you accidentally find yourself kind of, scrolling through hot girls' Instagrams. And every once in a while, I notice, so I have this buddy who I won't mention him by name, but let's just say he was a quarterback at he was a starting quarterback at a major D1 school. Like, if you were going to name, historically over the last 20 years, if you were just going to start rattling off, like, really, really gangster-ass, D1 NCAA football, you'd get to them for 100% sure in the top 5, okay? And he was the quarterback there at a time that I will not allude, he's not soon enough that you would be like, go through the last 3 quarterbacks, but he was a quarterback, he's younger than me, whatever. And I go to these girls, like, I'm telling you, I don't know how we end up on all the same Instagrams, but this motherfucker is the king of liking their pictures. And because he has so many followers, he's always at the top. Or it might be because he and I are like friends or whatever. But if he's liked a photo, it says liked by blah, blah, blah. And this dude, he's like married with kids, man. He's got no shame. He's out liking all the, he must have got so much. Anyway. So that's Kamaru Usman is what he's doing to Colby. He's like, oh, damn. That's something I like. What's up, Colby? It's your sister's Instagram? Jeez. Like, who would have known you'd be related to such a beautiful specimen? Mm-hmm. It's genius. It's genius. Colby's out doing the way he does, blah, 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 blah. And Kamaru beat him up and then started liking his sister's Instagram photos. Come on. Like, that's not funny? That shit's not funny? That's not fucking funny. That's not funny. Jesus. Grow up, okay? If that's not funny, grow up. It is funny, okay? I mean, jeez. It's brilliant. So, yeah, there's that. Also, in addition to those things. Wait, hang on. Now let me go back to the 260. This video's fucking all over the place. But let me go back to that fight card thing, okay? So let me tell you what the fight card actually says. The 260 fight card, okay? So Sean O'Malley, they are feeding him a bait dog. Okay, they're going to give him a win, right? They have full expectations that he's going to win. Okay, like I've said before, UFC is a fight promotion. It is also a business. When you have a person who has potential to become a huge asset in the company, you need to protect that asset like an investment. Okay. If Sean O'Malley loses 2 in a row, that's a major problem. The way he lost last time was a fluky kind of weird thing. However, Chito Vera was a big jump in competition. They're not going to take a big risk with him. They need to get him another W. Okay. Now, Almeida has a name. He's lost 4 of his last 5 fights. Okay. It's not hard to see what they're trying to accomplish with this fight. They are balls deep. Please let Sean O'Malley win. Okay. Like the Dustin Poirier and Conor fight, same thing, okay? Like they thought Conor would beat Dustin, which would potentially set up a Conor and Khabib rematch, which would have been the biggest fight in UFC history, okay? Dustin beating Conor, incredibly, unfortunate. And still holding on to maybe Khabib and Conor is why they didn't take the belt away from Khabib until he finally was like, listen, it's not happening. It was all about that Conor rematch, okay? Now, with Woodley, this is the last fight on his contract, okay? Now let me tell you a little, let me feed you guys a little bit of information here. Now, a lot of you probably already know this. If you are fighting out your contract, you get through all those committed fights, and you get to the very last fight on your contract, and you don't renew with the UFC 100% will feed you someone they think will beat you, okay? Now, usually, if people don't want to renew, it means they're kind of on a skid, right? So they're not going to get some huge fight necessarily, right? Like, because they don't want to give. This is what they want to do. They don't want to give him too much hype, right? They don't want to give him too much hype because even if they put someone really, really big name against them, that still gets eyeballs on him, right? So they give him someone who doesn't have a lot of hype, but they think is most likely to beat them. So Luque, right? They think Luque is going to beat. I mean, for sure, that is what they do. That's what they do every single time. Go look at Paige Van Zandt's last fight, right? They ever fight at 125 against Rebus or whatever, who annihilated Rebus, I think, right? Amanda Rebus? I don't know. I would look that up if I wasn't just going off the cuff. But yeah, they think Luque is going to demolish Woodley. He trains with Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman, right? Lots of the same skills, except probably more dangerous with his legs. Okay, so yeah, that is exactly what they want to happen. They want him to beat Woodley and send Woodley out on another loss because they don't want Woodley to go to Bellator with a big name. It's just business. So, yeah, I don't know what the odds are in that fight, but here's what I can tell you. If you're going to parlay two fighters, the smart money is Luque and O'Malley, who will both be favorites. However, the UFC is banking on them both winning. So, the O'Malley one matters more to them, but they both matter. So, anyway, I was going to talk about this Chael Sonnen thing too. That was so funny, but I think I'm going to save that for another video because I found this clip of Chael Sonnen, literally maybe the greatest moment in trash talk history, and I just stumbled on it. I'll tell you when it's from. You guys, if you guys remember this, or if anybody can put in the comments that you remember this, I will be incredibly impressed. Okay, but it's Chael Sonnen in the press conference after the Anderson Silva first fight. Okay, he has this this little paragraph that is literally the most brilliant thing I've ever seen. Okay, he lost to Anderson. If you remember the context of that first fight, okay, he beat the shit out of Anderson Silva for 5 straight rounds, and then Anderson Silva, by some miracle, trapped him in a triangle with like 2 minutes left. I mean, it was devastating, right? Like, it was obviously devastating. Like, Chael would have, like, he's a trash talker, but it's still his goal to win the championship, and he won the championship up until the last 2 minutes, and then got caught in a triangle, which he should have seen coming. It is what it is. But this sequence of talk that he had in the press conference is literally the most brilliant trash talk I've ever seen. Ever. But I'll save it for another video because I've been talking long enough and this is a weird enough video as it is. So if you like the content, subscribe and ring the bell.